Over the past couple of months, this printer here changed my life. My name is Jeffrey, and as you can see, I'm really into 3D printing. Alright, now I know these props are cool and all, but of course, that's not what I mean when I say this printer changed my life. These machines can do so much more. They can solve problems, they can help other people, they can help you make your life easier. And in today's video, that's exactly what I want to show you. We're going to be solving a real life problem, one of which I face many every week, and we're going to do it using the printer. Now don't worry, we're not going to do any modeling. You don't need to be a mechanical engineer to follow any of this. You can still use a 3D printer without all of that. It's going to be a simple example of a simple problem with a very simple solution. And hopefully, by the end of it, you'll be just as excited as I am about this technology. Let's get it done.
So let's take a look at the tool of our trade. This is the Bambu Lab P2S. This thing is my go-to workhorse nowadays, but this is not my first machine, and I've got a confession to make. My 3D printing journey wasn't all sunshine and rainbows.
I tried to get into the hobby a couple of years ago, but after countless hours of tinkering, headaches, failed print after failed print, and trying to figure out why my machines weren't doing what I wanted, I kind of lost interest. But then 5 months ago, I decided to give the hobby another shot, and I went to the dark side. I bought the Bambu Lab P2S. Honestly, it has been a total game changer for me. And don't worry, I'm not sponsored to say that. The Mando helmet you see behind me is actually the first thing that I made with it, and I was just so impressed by the sheer quality and the ease of use. You just press print, you fire and forget, and a couple of hours later you have this helmet. No more issues with bed leveling or stringing, it just works. And I'm not an engineer nor a modeler, so if I can do it, literally anyone can do it.
So let's get into the problem we're going to solve today. I sit behind a desk a lot nowadays. Now I'm no short guy, but because my desk is pretty high, my feet are always dangling, leading to neck and back pains. So I need a solution. Let's break down the process of how to tackle this issue. First, we're going to determine what the problem actually is. Now you don't need Google or ChatGPT to solve this issue. We already know what we need. A good old footstool. And this might surprise you, but I'm no expert on footstools, so it's never a bad idea to do some research. Now I like to check websites like Amazon or just Google to see what products are out there and what the costs of those products are. You'd hate to find out afterwards that you spent like 20 or 30 bucks on filament when you could have just bought an item for 12 or 15 bucks on the internet. The average price for a footstool seems to be around 30 bucks or something, so as long as my material costs stay under that, it's a good product to print. On to step number 2. Now we know what to look for, we're going to find ourselves some printable models. There's a bunch of websites you can go to, like Thingiverse, Printables, and I'm sorry for being a fanboy, but my favorite still Bambu Labs' MakerWorld. What I like about MakerWorld is that there are so many awesome free models, and there is very lively communities sharing their work, and they're reviewing or giving feedback so the models can be improved. The possibilities are endless, and I have a feeling this is just the beginning. These are all made by skillful modelers, but with the advancements in AI lately, can you imagine what this is going to be in a couple of years? What you could make yourself? You could make the projects living inside your head real. All you need to do is write a prompt. Okay, so let's see if MakerWorld can deliver. We're trying to find a footstool that's adjustable in height and will be relatively cheap to produce. Now I've seen some models with some wood details in it which I really liked, so I'm looking for one of those. There's one, but it's not adjustable in height. I really like the style though. Oh, there we go. This is it. This looks clean, crisp, and probably really cheap to produce. Yep, it's even got schematics. Yeah, this looks nice. Bill of materials, nothing expensive on there, and even assembly instructions. Well, the reviews are good. I say we have a winner. So the next step is slicing the model, which is just a fancy name for getting it ready to print. In my case, I use a slicer software called Bamboo Studio for this, which I can open directly from the MakerWorld website. And once I'm in the studio, all I need to do is change two things in this case. First, I don't have a P1S, I have a P2S, so I switch that. And I'm also going to change the filament type from PETG to PLA. Don't worry if you don't know the difference between the two. We'll take a deep dive into filament types in a future video. And after that, we're done. We can slice the model. After slicing, you can see how much filament you'll be using. And if you don't get any crazy error messages at this point, you're ready to start the print. So everything looks good in my case. Let's make this footstool thing happen. I also decided to print the bolts needed for assembly because I didn't have those laying around. I was also curious as to whether they would be strong enough to hold. And now it's time to bring all those pieces together and assemble this thing. Well, I found out soon enough that the bolts that I printed were not up to the test. I could probably reorient them during print to make them stronger, but I chose to just get some proper ones instead.
Word up. Yo, check the technique. My throne was ill-designed, left my posture looking weak. Feet dangled in the air, causing static in my spine. That's a whack foundation, a flawed schematic line. So I fired up the printer, let the filament fuse. Engineered a whole new structure, paid dues to bust the blues. Rocking this footstool now, my feet are planted firm. Solve the whole equation, it's a lesson that you learn. This plastic prophet's powerful word, it's only the beginning. Yeah, it's only the beginning.
Okay, and here she is, our final product and the answer to my neck-related problems. Now this thing took me a little over 20 minutes to assemble, and the modeler and the 3D printer, they really did all the heavy lifting for us. We just pressed print. How cool is that? Now I know this is just a simple example, but over the course of the next couple of months, I want to do a series in which I show you guys all the problems that I solve using my printer. There's going to be a range of projects in this series, from functional prints to props, to gifts, which I haven't even talked about yet. And keep in mind, this is a learning journey. Together we're going to hone our skills and we're going to see how we can embrace this new technology. Because this is no longer a hobby for tinkerers. This is a tool, and anyone can use it. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to be in touch.